Hello and welcome to the Chatty Chat podcast, offshoot of the Cash vs. Trash podcast. My name is Rob. I am joined, as always, by my lovely, delicious, very pregnant, sometimes annoying wife.
Sometimes.
Demi.
Hello.
Hello.
I am Demi.
I'll make it work. Alrighty. This episode, I don't know what the title is going to be.
Yeah.
But basically
we don't exactly know what we're going to be talking about either.
Yeah, it's teen month, I suppose. Yeah, teen month.
Orientated.
Yeah, we're all about them teenagers. Oh, not going to say that.
Oh yeah, take that out.
That's not a good way to put that. We're talking everything teen. Pop culture, teen culture.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be very outdated. Because I'm almost 30. I'll be 28 in a couple of months.
I will be 26 in a few weeks.
The existential dread of getting closer and closer to my 30s. Like, 28 is pretty much 30. But when I get to 30, I know I'm going to be like, oh, so young.
2 years ago.
Yeah. So, yeah. And we've got kids and we're married. So we're about as far from teenagers as it gets, really. Like, I went on a whole rant about how stupid teenagers are in, like, TV shows and stuff.
Yeah, this morning.
Like, not even content. I just went on a rant about it.
Yeah, I just had to listen to it.
Yeah. So, that's fun. Just old people now. Well, once you hit 25, you're officially, at least in Australia, you are no longer youth. Like, for all youth, I did a bit of, like, youth work study, and it was all ended at 24. Like, for youth stuff, it all ends.
Thanks for telling me that.
I'm just letting you know. You're an old lady.
I wasn't stressed about being 25, but now I am.
When I hit 25, I had, like, a full existential, like, episode for, like, 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, like, a big thing. But I just, on the inside, I was just like, I'm going to fucking die. Oh,
halfway to 50.
Yeah. I was just like, there's just a lot of that. So we're talking about when that was just far off. Just like, not even a worry. Because I don't know how it is for girls, but when you're a teenage boyman, sorry, there's lots of noises outside always. So if you can hear them, sorry. If you can't,
good.
But yeah, when you're a teenage boy, you're fucking invincible in your own mind.
Mm-hmm.
You are
that is true.
Unfucking stoppable.
It's not quite the same when you're a teenage girl. It's probably a lot of insecurities.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of insecurities as a boy, but it comes out as rage. Yeah. And horny. It's those two are a bad combination.
That is all teenage boys are.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's amazing that teenage boys don't die of dehydration because they lose a lot of fluid. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thanks. We all needed that imagery.
I'm just most of our audience, I'm pretty sure, is male, and they know. They know.
Yeah. Anyway.
But before we do that, we're going to talk about some box office news. We're going to talk about... We're not going to cover the various deaths that have been happening lately with famous people. Because that gets covered on so many things. We're just going to keep it nice and lighthearted here today. And it wouldn't feel genuine because a lot of them weren't people that I was like really
not impactful.
It wasn't,
us.
And it would just feel disingenuous to be like, oh, just by the way. So, yeah. Rest in peace to everyone who's died in the past
recently.
2 weeks. Yes, I have it this time.
Okay, you do
I've got it covered. Domestic. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Yeah. It says domestic, So that's the US. It's always the US. I see people going like, well, Talk to Me came out in Australia, so shouldn't the domestic be Australia? No, it's always the US.
It should.
It should be. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes, it should be, but no, it is not.
Yeah.
Because America is where movies happen.
They rule the movie world.
Yeah, so all the information that comes out from there is all Hollywood based. So which is in LA, which is in California, which is in the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
Just one. That specific America.
Yeah.
Anyway, after that bad joke.
I just said yeah because I didn't get it.
America.
Okay.
The America.
That wasn't clear.
It wasn't a very good joke. And I'm trying to walk away from it. And you got me by the ankle and you're like, explain it to me. Tell me why it's supposed to be funny. That was an impression of our children. Because they never get my jokes. And I say, I don't know, I made a good one in 2018 and a good one in 2019. They never get that either. That's the years that they were born, in case anybody didn't get that. Anyway, The Nun 2, which has came out. We haven't seen it, nor will we ever.
So is that the top? Yeah,
that's number one. It's for Tuesday, September 12th. It made $3,131,910.
Okay.
I don't know if that's how much it made that day, or if that's how much it's made. Surely that must be that day, because down on the list is Barbie. So, then The Equalizer 3.
Mm-hmm.
Denzel's vanity piece.
Didn't even know that was out.
Yeah, which that day made $1,628,323, so it's doing pretty good. My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3.
Didn't know that was out.
Yep.
Didn't even know that existed.
Yep, 1.5 million. I'm not going to list off all the numbers. Barbie is still on the top 5 list for the days. 578,000.
Okay,
still. I mean, it's fairly dying off, but to be still making more than like $50, it's pretty good. And Gran Turismo limping along. That day made 444,000, but still.
So Oppenheimer's been booted off.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna. I should have done the latest weekend, but who cares? Because the latest weekend, Barbie made 5.7 million still.
Wow.
Like it's making so much money.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my critique still stands. I mean, I think I'm less. Like I'm not making any sense. We did that episode the day we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd also watched Oppenheimer, which right after Barbie is like eating fairy floss and then being punched in the face.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so that I had a lot of like really intense thoughts, mostly because of Oppenheimer, but then like trying to conjure it all up for Barbie. I've eased up a lot, but I still think that you can't have your cake and eat it too with that movie. You can't be like, ha ha ha, and then try to have like a really serious thematic lesson at the end. I just don't, that don't jive with me.
Fair enough.
Bucko. So, but I stand by that it's an amazing movie. It deserves all the praise and all the. I just think that one particular part, I'm like, it doesn't work for me, but it doesn't have to.
Yeah,
because I'm a white man.
Greta Gerwig didn't have Rob Suter in mind when she was making that movie.
She wasn't like, what would that one young chap over in Australia.
We're old
She's
now.
older than me. Or I should say, I found out that she has ADHD. I have ADHD. So I must now stand in solidarity and support everything that she does. Because more power to the neurodivergent. Which, no, that's not some new cool slang. I'm going to put my phone on silent. I'm very sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the mid movies from back in the day, Divergent and Allegiant and Hypervergent and
Hunger Games.
Yeah, but this was a different one.
Yeah,
those were actually other than Hypervergent. I just made that up.
Yeah, okay.
I was thinking of Hypervirgin.
You just said Divergent, and then I thought of Hunger Games.
Yeah. I don't really have any other news than that.
No.
Nothing.
Mm.
I don't know. Just going to keep making noises into the microphone until I think of something.
I think I saw something, but I can't remember. Oh,
That's just such a vague statement.
I think I saw
something, but it just... Yeah.
Dharma there's going to be a Dharma season 2.
What? I didn't watch the first season, but didn't it end with him going to jail and being murdered?
Yeah, so I don't know what the second season's going to be.
It's probably going to be not a second season of Dharma, but of Monster or whatever it's called.
No, it's called Dharma.
Isn't it called Dharma and then it has a subtitle?
I can't remember.
I reckon it's going to be about a different...
No, it's him.
But how would that work unless it's not real?
Unless it's like after, like what happened after? Might be like really short.
Maybe like a 1 episode thing.
Like maybe 2 or 3, yeah.
It's either horrible, still capitalizing off of what happened to those people and like glorifying him in a way, because a lot of those things don't sit right with me. The way when they do that, like it's not true crime, but
I think what happens is
I didn't watch it, but yeah.
I think what happens is they do the show, but then people become obsessed.
Yeah.
Like I was reading in the comments and everyone's like tagging their friends. They're like, oh, so excited with love heart eyes. And I'm like, That's
what I'm saying.
Yeah. But the people who made the show didn't do that for the intentions of people to be weird about.
But surely they must have known.
Maybe. I think they would have known that it would be popular.
But
people get so weird about it.
The reason why it's weird is because he's the main character. Whereas shows like Mindhunter go right into that same fucked up world, but it's from the perspective of the good guys.
Yeah.
And they make a very clear case that, like, these are fucked up serial killers. And the big guy with the glasses, I can't remember his name. Edward Kemper? Is that his name? Something like that.
Yeah.
When they interview him and he's like, we should all be killed. Everyone like me should just be killed. And he's right. I'm not talking about psychopaths. I mean ones that kill people.
Yeah.
Because there are psychopaths around that don't kill people.
Yeah. They're not serial killers.
Don't come after us. Yeah. But that's still in the same vein of like teenage stuff, because usually teen girls are like, oh, an ultra-violent man. Like
when people say, oh, if I was around when Ted Bundy was alive, I would totally get murdered by him or whatever. And it's like, come on, guys. Like, oh, he's so handsome. No wonder. Yeah.
And that is what happened. Like, that was his whole thing.
Yeah.
He was a very handsome man.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, why don't you come over here into the woods with me? Never mind that I have this axe. He was way more cunning than that. It was more like he already had the axe waiting.
Yeah.
And then he would just cut their heads off.
All right.
I'm just saying what he did.
I don't know if he did that.
Are you...
Cut their heads off?
Are you fucking serious? Ted Bundy.
Did he cut their heads off?
He hacksawed that woman's head off.
Yeah.
And sorry, trigger warning.
This has gotten really grim.
We were talking about serial killers, and you're here like, not my Ted, but we were talking about serial killers, so you should expect it to go this way. But there was the college girls that he went in there, and he smashed one over the head with a piece of wood, and he committed...
I know that part, yes.
Graphic sex crimes on the other one with a knife or some shit.
I just don't remember heads being chopped off.
One of the last ones, he's got a broken arm, and he asks her for help with something, with his car or whatever, and he had a hacksaw, and he cut her up into bits. He wasn't like run-of-the-mill, knock someone over the head to get a bit of a thrill. Like, he was a sick fuck.
Yeah.
So, you're here like, oh, teen girls are like, oh, even adult, some men too, are like, he could kill me.
Yeah.
And you're there, and then you're like, but he wouldn't have done that.
All I said was I don't remember heads being chopped off.
He wouldn't have. That doesn't sound like the Ted I watched. It's
because I'm thinking of Zac Efron.
Yeah, you are. You're thinking of. You're like, not 17 again, boy.
No. Anyway,
he was the perfect casting for that.
Yeah, he was.
Because everyone's like, Zac Efron wouldn't do weird Hollywood stuff, but who knows?
Yeah.
You never know until someone's like, that happened to me.
That was a teen movie when I was around.
17 again.
High School Musical.
Ah, yes. We should lead into what we're talking about today. Mm-hmm. What was going on when we were going through puberty.
Yes.
So
for me, it's just Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Just flashes of Justin Bieber in my mind. A little splash of Cody Simpson. Splash being the operative word there.
So I was a teen man from, this is so awkward to talk about, but I guess I like hit puberty at about 12. So I'll go from there. So 2007, give or take a few months, because I was born in November, to 2000 and what year are we in? I'm still in puberty.
23.
I feel like I'm still a teenager sometimes. No, like, let's say until you don't fully develop for a while, but basically from 12 to 17, maybe 18, my God.
Wild times.
It was like hormones
They just fuck your brain up.
Yeah, they do. They just kill you.
Yeah.
And then you get revived when you turn like 25. And you're just like, death!
For women, it's more like 20.
Oh, yeah, for women, it's more like
19.
10 to 19. Young girls are much more with it than young boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a puberty thing or not. I'm not going to get into gender politics here. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm not like, well, girls mature quicker. We're just not going to do any of that. This is just about the pop culture. Just giving a frame of reference for like the years that we were like.
Okay, when was I a teenager then?
Why am I talking about puberty then? We're talking about pop culture. So you started talking about Ted Bundy and like, I just lost it.
Okay, so you turned 13 in what year?
2008.
So I must have turned 13 in 2010.
Because you were 2 years younger than me, yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, around almost exactly, because you're October and I'm November. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty cool.
So 2010. Wow. That seems like so long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2010 was a big year for me. I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to air my filthy laundry. I'm not going to air my filthy laundry. I'm just going to do that. 2010 was a big year for me.
I think everyone can guess.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just a good time. Just a real good time.
2010.
2010 and 2011.
One particular few hours.
Oh, few hours. Few hours.
I'm just talking about the day.
Oh, okay. I was going to say
one.
It's not even anywhere near an hour now. What are you talking about a few hours?
I just mean the day. Know. The day.
I'm honoured. I'm honoured that for a second you thought that there was a few hours of that.
Oh. I more meant the day.
Okay.
And the lead up.
And no, I think that may have been 2011, but 2010 was like the beginning of that part of my life.
Okay.
So anyway,
when I
was just so happy for a second.
When I thought we were talking about teenage years, I didn't think we'd get into this stuff.
We weren't. But all I said was 2010 was a big year, and you're like, tell me everything.
Secrets.
You know most of it.
Yeah,
you don't, nor will you ever. I'm not going to be one of those people who's like, I don't know.
I'll reveal it. No, I'm joking.
How dare you? His name was Roy.
Roy.
I just pulled it. Rob and Roy. I don't know. We pulled it out of the
He worked in a warehouse.
He did.
He was married. Oh, no, engaged.
He was 32. I was 12. Let's not go there.
Dear.
We're trying to talk about pop culture.
What's happening here?
Anyway. Wouldn't it be really fucked up if it turned out that, like, that was true and that was my subconscious coming out and I just suppressed it for all these years?
Yeah, that's a secret I don't know about.
And then I just had a meltdown on camera.
So funny.
And then edited it and put it up on the internet for people to see. And it definitely couldn't have been faked.
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying, for when people watch videos of things, I'm like...
Definitely not a good idea.
Don't believe everything you hear.
Heaps of followers and attention.
Like a cult.
Yeah.
That's why they call them followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a teenager, like I said before, it's just Justin Bieber. Oh, and One Direction. How could I forget? So for me, I grew up more like in the city, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, compared to you.
Yeah, I am a country bumpkin. It has been documented.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And when I was a teenager, I don't know if it's still a thing. My sister's a teenager and she doesn't quite do this, but it was very common for us to put posters all over our walls.
Your sister definitely does that.
No, I'm talking about every inch of my walls.
Okay, I'm just going to clarify. I've been in your teenage sister's room with you.
She has cool photos. For me, it was just band photos of One Direction, magazine photos of Justin Bieber.
Yeah, but you...
And I would, like, cut out things.
I think that's just, like, a thing always.
And I would, like, cut out things from magazines and, like, I even started putting stuff on my ceiling. And that was a bitch to take down when we moved.
I think that's just a common through line for a lot of teenagers.
Yeah, to put stuff on your walls.
I kind of did, but never... I could never commit to it fully. But... I don't know, I would see that a lot. I would see that people would have heaps of posters. I think it would have kept me up at night. Because I would have woken up in the night and been like, bah!
It's a lot of work.
There's just a fucking face.
You got to cut things out of magazines. You got to get blue tack. You got to stick it onto the wall. Then it gets the paint off your wall, and you got to change them out and make sure they all fit so it looks nice.
Yeah, I didn't really do any of that. I decorated my room for sure, but it was more of like a disgusting mess.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was bad.
I had a messy room too.
Yeah, that's why we're so good together. Because you learnt from your messy room and you turned into a neat and tidy person. But I was like, that was peak. That was where I was at my best. That was where I was at my happiest. Where I could just throw shit around. Literal shit. I would shit in my hand, smear it on the walls.
So you were an ape.
Yeah. No, I just enjoy not picking up after myself.
Everyone does, but we got to do it.
But there's a part of me that yearns for the grossness of life. I think that's a man thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But now we have those, I was going to make a joke that we have like a magic table where I just put things and it gets taken away, but it's never been that way. I can't even commit to that joke because it's always been, pick your shit up.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not your slave.
I was born too late. I
also hate picking shit up.
I would have done so good in the 50s.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Because I would have been progressive in the 50s. I would have been like, I won't hit you.
You would have been praised.
People would have been like, there's something wrong with that guy.
They'd be like, it's Jesus.
He tells his wife that he loves her.
Yeah.
He only drinks 50 beers every night. Anyway, let's get away from this topic.
Yeah. So that was like celebrity wise for me. Did you have any like a particular celebrity crush?
Particular celebrity crush
when you were a teenager?
Scarlett Johansson.
Well, so that's just stuck.
Nah, not as much anymore. Now I view her as a human being. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, it's weird when you're a teenage boy. It's like some guys had crushes. For me, it was more like just, I don't know. I could never just have one.
And
just like now.
And what about movies? So we said High School Musical. And then there was Mean Girls. I don't know when that came out.
Mean Girls was way before our time. That was like 2004.
But it was shown to us in school. Like, I remember watching it in science.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you on that front.
The Lutheran private school that I went to loved Mean Girls.
Yeah. but there weren't many big ones that came out. Like, that was early 2000s.
Yeah.
But the late 2000s and early 2010s was all about, like, your dystopian YA novel adaptations. So like we said before, your Divergence, your Hunger Games, your late Harry Potter movies, your bloody Twilight, that's the one. Yeah. That's not a dystopian, but it's something. Yeah, so that's why there's not that many teen movies from then. It's because they weren't normal high school ones. Mm-hmm. They were all fantasy.
Yeah.
Because, oh no, that was after. I was going to say there was like, Maze Runner, but that was later. Mm-hmm. That was like when it was dying off.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Hunger Games was like 2010?
I don't know.
I think, yeah. It was the first big one. Like Harry Potter, obviously, but that was different. That was like kids' books that went into young adult books, whereas ones that was usually a female protagonist, and it was very much like, look at this shitty world, and all that. Twilight was 2008. Okay. And that kicked it off fully, I think.
Yeah.
Because nothing else really that much like Harry Potter was coming out. It was all kids stuff. Mm-hmm. Still, even years later. And it was only with, like, the Hunger Games where all the YA stuff came in. Because I can't really think of any teen movies that came out around that time.
No, and I'm thinking, like, what I used to watch. And I used to watch The Office.
Mm-hmm. Which people still do now.
Yeah. And American Horror Story.
That didn't start that.
No, I was like...
you were still in high... I always forget, you finished high school in 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah. Demi was held back.
I was not.
How do you explain that you...
I chose... No, not me particular, but... it was in my best interest that I redid grade 9.
I'm not going to argue with you, sister.
Because like I said in the other episode, 17 again, I think, I had moved 3 countries and all of them have different schooling systems.
Hey, take it easy, man.
I'm not a dummy. Well,
I never said that that's why you were held back. You're digging the hole.
Well, usually when somebody is held back, it's because they're not the smartest.
Yeah. That's why I like to make fun of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then music, like what was popular?
Oh, well, your One Directions, your T-Swizzles.
What were you into?
Oh, me? The Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
And LMFAO. Oh, God.
No, they're awesome.
Yeah, but like that, when that's the only music you listen to. A lot of stuff that I don't listen to now. So yeah, like a lot of LMFAO, a lot of Macklemore.
Yeah. You were still listening to him when I met you.
Kanye West. Yeah, I was. I mean, I still like his songs. I just don't see a lot of like So Fresh shit. Like I don't know what it is, like your hits. You know, like the TV shows that would come on.
Yeah.
Like the top 30 or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't listen to the radio that much, so my music interests have
that is gotten so true,
a lot more. Yeah.
Is that even a thing anymore? Like where people listen to like the top 10 or... Because that used to be huge when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
Like I remember I would drive around, like we'd be driving around with my family.
You didn't have to give like...
I wasn't driving. And like I remember one time in particular, it was like the top 30 or whatever. And it was getting close to the number 1. So we kept driving so we could hear it. Yeah, but that shit just doesn't happen anymore because you just go on your phone and you look at it.
Yeah, the only thing these days, I guess, would be like Triple J's Hottest 100, and even then, it's not the same. I was never super into that, but it used to be a big Australia Day thing, and then they went all
and people got pissy about Australia
Day.
Day.
They were like, well, we're not going to do it on Australia Day because people want to either change the date or abolish Australia Day, and I'm like, just a little side note here. It doesn't matter if you change the date. Really. Yeah. Because if you abolish it, people are just going to still, that's just going to cause more harm than good. So, Anyway.
That's all we'll say.
I'm not going to say what my beliefs are for the for or against, but I think that if you change the date, in the long run, like a couple of years, it's really not going to change much.
Especially if you just change it to the day before or after.
Yeah. But if you just get rid of it, that's a bit buck wild there.
They'll never do that.
Yeah. Like if we have any American listeners, what would you reckon if just one day they were like, we're not doing 4th of July anymore. That's not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that wouldn't go down very well.
No.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, my teen years were mostly focused on, like, footy, drinking. Yeah, you heard it. Going out to parties and having some drinks and stuff, and it's very loose here in Australia, most of the place, especially in the bush.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You get away with some shit.
Yeah.
One of the pubs in a town that was not far from where I grew up was nicknamed the kindergarten for a few years, because if you wanted to do underage drinking, you would just go there. But then the new owner came in, but I got along with them. I had, when I started drinking there, I said I was 19. I'm not going to say when I'm not going to. Well, I gave him a very convincing story, and he was like, "Good enough for me."
Oh my God.
I'm not going to say who that was or what pub it was, but there was another one that's closed down now, unfortunately. That was the best. We used to go there in our school uniforms.
Wow.
One time they actually gave us advice on which back road to take so the cops wouldn't pull us up, because we bought alcohol from there to go to watch State of Origin.
That's good.
Man, good times.
That is good.
Yeah.
That would never happen now.
Oh, no, definitely not. Still happens everywhere, I reckon. You just don't hear about it because we're not teenagers. We don't need to know all the secrets.
Mm-hmm.
That's one weird thing about growing up is you never get to rebel as much.
Yeah.
Like when you rebel as an adult, you just go to jail.
Or it's just boring rebelling. Like it's just like... Yeah, benefiting you somehow.
Yeah, because
not just for fun.
When you rebel as a teenager, it's against an authority figure. But when you're an adult,
you are.
You either are the authority figure, or the authority figure is you're so high up on the list that the next authority figure is just the cops.
Yeah.
So you just get put in lockup. Not me.
Nope.
I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the podcast before, but if I haven't, didn't happen to me. Not when I was a teenager, that's my point. The thing that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But when you're a teenager, you get like, the coppers come around and they're like, what's going on here? And you're like, oh, nothing, my mate's dad. And they're like, good. But when you're an adult, they're like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up and fuck off.
Yeah, because you should know better.
Yeah, which is fair enough. Like, I've complained plenty about it in my life, but fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to pop culture.
Yeah, I was going to say, not so much for you maybe, but for me, I was right on that edge of before or social media becoming huge.
Well, I was well before
Excuse me.
That's fun.
Yeah. Like Snapchat and
that
just
was
that downhill
that
shit.
was like the year after I graduated, 2013.
Oh, okay.
From memory is what I remembered. Well, I got my first smartphone for my 17th birthday, and it was this big. About the screen was about, I don't know, what's that? A couple inches?
Yeah.
It was very,
5
very
centimeters?
small. I don't know. It was tiny as.
Yeah.
And I had it until 2014 sometime. I got a new one. Like, I had that I still have it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Toughest little fucking phone in the world. I used to, it had a rubber case and I used to skip it across the road.
Nice.
To prove how tough it was. It never cracked, ever.
You couldn't do that with an iPhone.
If I sneezed on this, it would break.
Yeah.
It's broken. No, they're actually pretty tough.
Speaking
these
of
days.
broken phones, I broke a lot of phones.
Yes.
And I would like the screen, and I would walk because there was a phone repair shop like just up the road from our house, and and I would walk to get it replaced. And I must have done that like 5 times.
Wow.
It did not click to me that maybe they weren't putting the glass on my phone screen properly. And I just kept giving these people money.
Mm-hmm. That's right, because things these days are built to break.
That's right.
Break free from society. Build your own phone.
Build your own phone.